Hey guys, and welcome to the Wild West Gamer. With me, the Wild West Gamer, sat here choking on Coke, as in Coca-Cola, not as in Coke, as in the Class A. Um, that was a really weird way to start, wasn't it? Let's do a joke about drugs. Um, so guys, hey, how have you been? Hope you've been well. Weather is amazing at the moment, and I have seen World War Z. World War Z, the second of my summer blockbusters, and it's been advertised as a blockbuster. It's got Brad Pitt in it, one of the leading actors in Hollywood at the moment. It's a blockbuster. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see Star Trek Into Darkness. So my trilogy of blockbusters this summer will have to be Superman, World War Z, and hopefully up and coming Pacific Rim, which I'm very excited about. So, getting back to World War Z, what did I think of World War Z? Well, it's not the book. That much is blatantly obvious from the trailers. If you're going into this because you're a massive fan of Max Brooks' Zombie Survival Guide or World War Z, again by Max Brooks, no, don't. If you're going for the book, watch out. Yeah, fucking watch out. This is not the book. And I knew that, so that sort of prepared me for it. At the same time, though, I thought there would still be quite a lot of subtext and sort of small sort of deviations from what they are doing with this film back towards your source material. But there really isn't. There really is not a lot of the book, and that I think that sucks a lot. Actually, I think it for me. Right, I'll tell you what. Right, let me talk about the film, and then I'll sort of perhaps explain what I would have liked to have seen, or how I would have done it. So I'll give you a review on the film first. So World War Z. World War Z stars Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt plays a former UN expert who he used to go to places where there've been atrocities, war crimes, stuff like that, gathered information, sort of presented it to the UN and all that sort of crap. To be quite frank, that's not one of the big things about it. It's just the fact that he used to be very good at his job and the UN wants him back when this thing happens, and this thing that happens is a zombie outbreak. An unknown disease like rabies starts rapidly being transmitted throughout the population of the planet and begins immediately within about 10 seconds of infection, begins turning people into zombies, into these mindless, animalistic, frantic killing machines. Now, again, these are not the zombies of Max Brooks's World War Z or Zombie Survival Guide. They're not the slow, stumbling zombies. These are the fast, running, feral zombies that we're used to seeing in the New Dawn of the Dead and sort of 28 Days Later. I know people go, oh, they're not zombies, they're infected, but fucking potato, right? So yeah, these zombies are fast. They're jumping through the air, tackling people. It's quite cool to see, actually. To be fair, I'm not too dismayed at the style of these zombies. I quite like them, actually. And yeah, sorry, Brad Pitt plays this former UN expert, and there's an outbreak of this virus, and he is called in to track down the origin of the virus and hopefully find a way to create a cure. His family, his wife and his two young daughters are basically left behind on this ship. That's really one of the only safe places on the sort of small flotilla of ships that is gathered out at sea, because the mainland is being overrun with these with zombies, and that's sort of the only safe place. So he takes off in a helicopter or a plane, even, to South Korea to hunt down the origins of the virus. And that's basically from there, the film then becomes just sort of jumping around the world to various different locals to, track down the origin of this virus. So, yeah, that's really it, really. But that's really what World War Z is. World War Z is Brad Pitt jumping around the world from place to place. Something happens, normally a zombie attack, and then he has to get out again. There's little deviation on that, and if I'm honest with you, I never felt like Brad Pitt was in danger in this film. I really didn't, not once actually. And I think the problem is if this is meant to be a horror film, there's not enough horror. It's a 15. It's rated a 15 over here in the UK. I don't know what that means in the United States or anywhere else, but for a 15, you kind of expect some blood and gore. Very little blood and gore in this. Likewise also, there's very little horror element there. Likewise, the whole sort of sense of danger or peril is gone because it's Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's not going to die in this film. He's the main fucking character, and he's a big Hollywood actor. He's not going to die. I mean, it's fucking stupid to even consider that notion. That was my problem from the beginning. So I was like, well, he's not going to die. His family, for the most part, are on this boat, so they're safe. Everyone that comes aboard is screened, so there's no danger there. The only reason you sort of follow the film is because you go every time he goes to a new place. It's like, ooh, how's this place going to get overrun with zombies? That's it. That's really the film. That's not me saying I didn't like it though. The spectacle of seeing the way the zombies behave and react was really cool, and I really enjoyed the way that you see how the thing that people sort of don't really think about is how would we lose control in a zombie apocalypse? How would we lose control? Here are these things that you think people would be like, well, the zombies are there, let's go in and stop them. That simple. In this, though, because they're fast and because they run, you see how quickly it just completely goes from just sort of quite ordinary normality to complete chaos. This isn't a spoiler because you see the majority of this in the trailer, but the bit in the beginning where he's in his car, and a police motorcycle comes past, knocks his wind mirror off. Brad Pitt's out and he's like, what's going on? There's an explosion down the street, and then you see people start running, stuff starts getting crazy, and then you see as he's running with his family, with all these people, he's looking back and seeing, people getting taken down by these other people, and he's like, what the fuck's going on? And he sees this person reanimate. And he's just like, the fuck? And then you just see them. This great aerial shot of just these zombies flooding through the streets of Philadelphia, which is where the film starts, and it's just fantastic. That is really cool. I really appreciate that, seeing how these zombies are just like literally swarming, and because it's like a 10-second incubation period from being bitten to then turning, you see how it does so quickly just transmit, and it's so indiscriminate, it just goes for anyone. And once you're turned, you're then off and after someone who you can get to. That's cool. That's a really cool bit, and that for me as a big fan of a zombie was great fun, because I like zombie films which start with the outbreak. I hate zombie films where it's like, a zombie. There's a zombie apocalypse. The world's infected with zombies. Okay, how did it start? Oh, that's a story for another time, or some shit like that. No, I want to see it. I want to see the zombie outbreak. I want to know how this happened. So the film I really thank for the way it does actually show how it starts. The rest of it, though, and this is it. So this is really where I start not liking the film. The film deviates so much from the original source material by Max Brooks. It misses out why this film should even exist, and that is because it is a commentary on the social, political, cultural, economic, structures that we take for granted nowadays. It's how they crumble and dissolve in the face of this unrealistic yet, all too real threat. The irony that these sort of Western free democratic nations fall so easily, yet sort of tyrannical dictatorships flourish, because they are able to implement sort of very just very cruel and degenerate sort of punishments as a way to deter the infection. Like the population having its teeth ripped out, stuff like that. That sort of thing is yeah. You're like, that's the sort of thing you want to know about, how different regimes handle this, and how they inadvertently do better than the countries we think in these sorts of situations would have the upper hand, like America and Britain and Europe. Likewise, Israel, a country that's constantly at war, that's been isolating itself off from the rest of the Middle East, they are fine for the most part. They're fine because they are isolated, and they keep everyone out because they've been preparing for basically their sort of for all their wars. They've been keeping everyone out. It now pays dividends. Stuff like that is cool. Likewise, the Battle of Yonkers in the book, the way they see the American military, just this complete sort of OK Corral sort of last stand. That's cool. That's what you want to see, how people fight to the death to get innocent civilians out, how sacrifice after sacrifice, in the face of this endless swarm of the undead, is the only thing that can be done in order to try and save lives. It's how the governments of the world turn to nuclear weaponry, in order to try and wipe out this threat. But in World War Z, you just don't get that. You just get snippets of information, and it's not enough. I don't care about Brad Pitt's family, if I'm honest. I really didn't. Just didn't give a shit. It should have been more like sort of like a political thriller, almost, as crazy as that sounds. It should have been seeing the degeneration of perhaps the United States government, or a series of different governments, seeing how they degenerate in the face of chaos. It should have been switching between perhaps three characters, perhaps a government official, an ordinary civilian, and a soldier, something like that. Given it should have had I think the film should have been longer. It felt way too short. Likewise, the way the film very neatly wraps itself up. It's like blatantly they're trying to sequel bait the film, but it's just like, well, no, you can't wrap a film up and then sequel bait it. And the way it's like, you go, the way the trailer makes out, oh, it's the end of the world, zombies are going to kill us all. Really? No. Fucking Brad Pitt's got basically this shit sorted out. It's just, I think the film could have been done better. Now, there is a good film behind it. Now, it sounds like I'm sort of ragging on it because it's not really what I wanted. I did really want this deeper, more, sort of, just a film, that paid a lot more respect to the original source material, which it should have done. But there is a good popcorn flick behind this film, for all of its problems and deviations from the source material, which in all fairness, if it copied a lot more, it would have been a lot better. There is a good popcorn flick behind this, and I think that people will be entertained by it. It's not a bad zombie film. It's certainly I think it's the single highest budget for a zombie film ever. So it's going to be. That's not really saying much, is it? Money doesn't equal quality, but you can certainly tell money's been spent on it, and I think that whatever they plan to do with World War Z 2, or whatever they call it, I think they need to think a lot more on what they're going for. If I'm honest with you, I don't want to see Brad Pitt again. I want an unknown. See, James Badge Dale, who, for those of you who don't know who he is, he played the sort of secondary henchman in Iron Man 3, and he played Private Leckie in the Pacific. He's a very good actor. He he was in this. He was, you know, he plays a soldier. I assumed he was going to be in the film a lot, and I was quite interested to see Brad Pitt and him strike up this relationship as soldier and scientist, or soldier and, you know, government official, or whatever the fuck Brad Pitt's meant to be. I was quite interested in seeing that, and I thought it would be cool to see how that relationship grows throughout the film. But it's not, and what you sort of have is all the soldier characters just seem to be fodder for the zombies, and that's not good enough. You're trying to show the genuine fact, you know, no one seems to care. No one seems remotely sort of torn up when they find out that their home city may or may not have been overrun and their families may be dead. Just there's so little sort of emotion from the characters when they fathom what is actually happening. The only people you're supposed to really care about, like I say, is Brad Pitt and his family, but I just didn't care about them. They're completely fucking safe. They're on a fucking boat in the middle of the fucking sea. There is no way in hell they're gonna, unless the fucking boat sinks, there's no way they're in any danger. You know, I mean, and this is the thing, I thought the whole idea of them being on boats, you know, them being on boats out at sea was going to toy with the idea in Max Brooks's books that the zombies sort of walk along the bottom of the ocean and then come up anchor chains and stuff like that. Nope, that's not happening in this film. So little things that you think are being set up for you just don't happen. I just think this film is not for fans of the book. That's my overall opinion. If you want to go see a World War Z, see it, but not because you want to see the book. Go and see it because you just want a dumb, fun Hollywood zombie film, you know, popcorn flick. But if I'm honest with you, I personally felt a little bit let down. So yeah, I really think that's it. Like I say, I was entertained by it. There were some nice ideas in it, but because I'm such a big fan of the book, I can't help but feel that I've been let down, and I think a lot of people are going to be let down. So yeah, I think that's really it, guys. I'm afraid. Sorry if this isn't what people want to hear. Leave your comments and I'll get back to them if you guys want to talk about it. Try to avoid spoilers. I've not spoiled. If I have dropped any, they were major ones. Trust me. Like I say, the fact that Brad Pitt is the main actor in this film, you know he's not going to die. That's just common sense, guys. Anyone knows that. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Enjoy yourselves. Comment on the discussion boards. Let me know what you guys would like to see. Let me know what you guys are thinking. And yeah, thanks very much, guys. You know, send the word around, and you know, hopefully you know someone, or you know, people that would like this sort of thing. So put the word out there, guys. Thanks very much, and see you next time. Bye bye.